year ago that the whistleblower organisation WikiLeaks appeared invincible, embarrassing governments by publishing diplomatic and military cables that angered presidents and prime ministers alike.
Now, leader Julian Assange is waiting to see if he'll be extradited to Sweden to face those sex allegations, and he says WikiLeaks will fold in weeks without urgent donations. Our Europe correspondent Philip Williams spoke to the WikiLeaks leader at London's Frontline Club.
These banks have an agenda in relation to us. And it's not the first time that we've gone to battle with them. Back in 2008, a famous case in San Francisco involving WikiLeaks and the largest private Swiss bank took place to try and censor our exposure of their operations in the Cayman Islands. We were victorious in that battle, and I expect that we will be, with some help from our friends, victorious in this one. But people need to understand that WikiLeaks simply cannot survive into the next year unless we defeat this banking blockade. It will not be possible for the organisation to sustain itself. And so we are throwing all our own resources into this stand against the blockade.
If you don't get the funds flowing again, is that the end?
If we do not get the funds flowing again, that is the end of WikiLeaks, correct.
And how long have you got to go?
Approximately the end of the year. So at the current levels of expenditure, we will not survive through next year.
Given that dire situation for the organisation, what are your plans beyond this current call for extra funds?
We are also attacking these financial institutions through the European Commission process under antitrust. Visa and MasterCard together control 97% of the card payments market in Europe. They are an effective monopoly, and as a monopoly, they must obey certain trade practices. We believe that is also the case in Australia, and we'll be taking legal action against these companies in Australia.
All of that takes time and money, of course. Time and money which you say you don't have at this point.
That's right. The reality for this organisation is that something like 80% of our resources over the last year have been spent on defending us from the various political attacks, the blockades, the severing of our internet services and so on. But that's simply the reality for a publisher that exposes powerful organisations. Powerful organisations are powerful, and powerful organisations make counterattacks. On the other hand, we have the support of more than 70% of the world's population, according to a Reuters poll of over 24 countries, which includes Australia.
Are you worried that, compared to, say, a year ago, when you were riding high, you were garnering millions of dollars through supporters, and you were the flavour of the month, now people are deserting you, you're not seen as the man you once were?
Well, so who says this?
Well, this is a general perception from reading the media.
Absolutely not a general perception. Across the general population of the world, I have more than 84% name recognition. Within Australia, personally, the approval rating for Julian Assange is double the approval rating for Julia Gillard.
Just finally, given your legal problems still unresolved, the organisation under threat as never before, how are you coping emotionally with all of that?
Well, it's quite easy. The work is very satisfying, very demanding, and one simply throws oneself into the mission.
And yet, of course, for any human being, it would be an enormous strain. Any one of those pressures, you've got them both at the same time.
We have all these pressures, but just like anything else, you adapt to a situation and continue on. There is simply nothing else to do.
Julian Assange telling Phil Williams, as you heard, that WikiLeaks, from his view, will flounder by the end of the year unless more money is received, unless those financial companies end what he is calling a blockade of the website. Also interesting to see him insist that he hasn't lost relevance over the last 12 months, insisting that he has, what was it, 84% name recognition.
Yes. And 70% support for the activities of WikiLeaks. I'm not quite sure where he's getting those figures from.
Yeah, I think one of the lines he used was he had double Julia Gillard's approval rating, which probably wasn't the best line to use, given what Julia Gillard's approval rating is. But he obviously still believes he is relevant and hasn't put people off by some of the activities of the WikiLeaks website over the past 12 months. Now, I can tell you we're getting heaps of responses from you about Julian Assange and where WikiLeaks goes from here. We'll read some of those out very shortly. You know the usual addresses. To get to us, the quickest way is to go to Twitter and hashtag Breakfast News, or at Breakfast News rather, is the quickest way to give us your view on Julian Assange.